John Cena's WWE retirement date has been confirmed. ESPN have removed all AEW content from their website, and Cody Rhodes has revealed that he can't write a book on his own career. What is up, wrestling fans? I'm Ben Allison here at Wrestling Republic, and I've got all the important wrestling news on a massively busy wrestling news day that you guys need in the time that it takes for you to drink your morning coffee. And I am going to explain and break down this new ESPN deal as well, because it has been fast-tracked. But before we get into the news, as always, if you could leave a like, subscribe, and comment, that would be massively appreciated. Now let's get right into it. WWE Premium Live events are moving to ESPN much earlier than expected, as it will begin with WrestlePalooza on September 20th. It is now official. The return of this previous ECW PLE will now mark the beginning of the WWE on ESPN era, and all PLEs from this point will be on ESPN, right? And you might be thinking to yourself, hang on, Peacock have got the deal with WWE until April, like March or April 2026. So how has this come about? And that is where it gets slightly complicated, because when WWE and Peacock reached an agreement in 2019, it was for X amount of PLEs per year. But in addition to that, there also was an expiry date of early 2026. And basically, WWE have already met the required shows that they were to do on Peacock. They've met that number already. So they were already basically half done. But like I said, there was an end date to this deal. So without NBC and Peacock actually giving it a thumbs up for the ESPN deal to be fast-tracked, this couldn't actually happen, even though WWE had already done all their required events. So basically, what has happened, which we'll get into on in a second, is WWE have renegotiated with Peacock to give them some content for the next 5 years as well. But as for PLEs, they're now going to be exclusively on ESPN starting September 20th, WrestlePalooza, and John Cena will be headlining and main eventing this show against an opponent who he hasn't faced in over a decade. And let's face it, I mean, you don't need to be a genius to work out who this is going to be, unless they swerve us or something. It does sound like it's going to be Cena, Brock Lesnar, September 20th, WrestlePalooza, ESPN, a big way to start that era. But like I mentioned, Peacock will now be getting more WWE content for the next 4 years, and that will begin with Saturday night's main events. They are going to be moving exclusively to Peacock, no longer on NBC, now exclusively on Peacock. And what I hope this means as a fan is that we will no longer have ad breaks during matches. Now, the ad breaks part is yet to be confirmed. That is just me speculating. But pay-per-views on Peacock did not have ad breaks during matches. They had ad breaks between matches, but not during them. So hopefully this move will mean that Saturday night's main events start to feel more like pay-per-views or premium live events. And that way, I'd have way less of an issue with them. Because right now, these ad breaks are just breaking up these matches, and they just don't feel important because of that. Plus, hopefully, this will mean there isn't a hard out as well. So, Peacock will be the exclusive home of Saturday night's main event shows starting November 1st. And then for John Cena's retirement match on December 13th. Because it is now official, John Cena will be retiring from WWE on December 13th, 2025. Saturday night's main event in Boston. Of course, his last opponent is yet to be confirmed, but we now finally do know the date. There's no more rumors about it. It is official. It's going to be exclusively on Peacock, not on NBC. Hopefully that means no ad breaks during matches, but we will have to wait and find out. Now, it's safe to say a lot of fans aren't happy about this. A lot of fans wanted Cena to get his own exclusive PLE, and to be honest, that is a very, very fair point to make. But what I will say is this: as long as there's no ad breaks during that match, as long as it gets proper time, as long as it's not cut off during a retirement speech, I don't really mind it. Of course, before then, John Cena has another 10 dates left of his tour, and all the locations are confirmed. Dublin, Ireland, Lyon, France, Paris, France, Chicago, Illinois, Massachusetts, Indianapolis, Indiana, Perth, Australia, and San Diego, California. And also 2 which are yet to be announced, which are presumably going to be SmackDown and Raws in preparation for Crown Jewel and Survivor Series. But let's face it, I mean, there's going to have to be at least one PLE here where he's not there to build the match, and he just goes from PLE to PLE. So it is crazy how few dates John Cena has left. ESPN have deleted and removed all references to AEW content, including news articles, from their website. This is following WWE Premium Live Events moving to ESPN's new DTC streaming service. But it is absolutely shocking, at least to me, that they have removed all news articles even referencing AEW from their news website. And what's even crazier about this is AEW actually have a deal in New Zealand and some other countries where they are actually on ESPN on a weekly basis. Yet all reference about them has now been removed from ESPN's websites. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not overly surprised about this, I guess, and it does make sense that ESPN doesn't overly cover All Elite Wrestling now they have a deal with WWE, but to delete all articles ever, I mean, I'm not going to lie, but this does just seem a little bit unnecessary and a little bit petty. But it is clear based on what we are hearing in the last few weeks that WWE now do have a big issue with All Elite Wrestling. For the last couple of years, they kind of let them do their own thing, but now they want to stamp them out. And most importantly, they want them to lose their TV deal with Turner. WWE want to control all networks when it comes to professional wrestling. They want to have a choice of the bunch as to who can bid the highest for their media rights. I don't think WWE's plan is to kill All Elite Wrestling because I think they know that that is impossible, but they just want to control the networks. But even still, and I said this last week, I don't think they can do this. I don't think they can really get AEW to lose their deal. The AEW fan base is really hardcore. They're doing good numbers right now. Turner are happy with them. I don't really see a situation where this works out well for WWE, but I can see a lot of situations where this ends up badly for them, because WrestlePalooza, for example, will be going head-to-head with All Out. So if the All Out card is stacked, you potentially could be losing 20 to 50,000 viewers for that show, and that is a lot. Don't get me wrong, WWE will still kick the AEW numbers out of the water, obviously they will, but the WWE numbers would be higher if they didn't go head-to-head with All Elite Wrestling. It's really bizarre to me. And again, I don't really think AEW having success on one network actually hurts WWE in any way, shape, or form. Because again, a lot of young All Elite Wrestling stars end up going to WWE anyway. And again, it just creates more jobs in the industry. I understand they want to control the industry, but I just don't really think that's going to be possible when you have the backing of Tony Khan behind another company. But talking about All Elite Wrestling, we do have some unfortunate news that Nick Wayne has suffered a broken foot and is out of this weekend's Forbidden Door, where he was scheduled to team up with Kip Sabian to take on Edge and Christian. I mean, this is just heartbreaking news for Nick Wayne. I feel really bad for the guy. I mean, this would have been the biggest match of his career by miles so far. To take on Christian Cage and Adam Copeland, Edge reuniting for the first time in over a decade. That was huge. But filling in for him will be the artist formerly known as Killshot, now once again known as Luchasaurus. So from a storyline perspective, it does still make a lot of sense. Montez Ford has revealed that the thought of turning on each other has never crossed the minds of either of the Street Profits. During an interview with No Contest Wrestling, Montez Ford was asked about a potential singles run and a potential split, and he didn't rule out a singles run, but did rule out turning on each other. He said it's never even crossed their minds, and I think this is a big fat lie. And the reason for that is they get asked about this in every single interview they ever do. Every single time, it's the same question. When are you guys splitting up? Are you going to turn on each other? So of course it must have crossed their minds, because they get asked about it every other day. But in all seriousness, I really do hope the Street Profits actually don't split up, because I just don't really think that's going to be good for either of them. I do think Montez Ford could have a brilliant singles run, but I just think there's too many people currently in the WWE who could have really good singles runs. So I actually think their best chance of success is keeping them together, but just booking them a bit better. Cody Rhodes has revealed that he cannot write a book on his career because a huge chapter of it is locked behind a wall. While speaking to Becky Lynch on What You Want to Talk About, Cody Rhodes spoke about the possibility of writing a book and revealed that he actually wants to do it. But because people keep on saying he's rewriting history, and because a large part of his career is locked behind a wall, he actually probably can't do it, and therefore somebody else is going to have to long-term write it for him. Now, Cody didn't actually mention All Elite Wrestling Cure, but he has mentioned in the past that the full story when it comes to him and All Elite Wrestling has not been told, so it's unclear if that's what he's talking about here. I mean, to be honest, I think it's a bit of a safe presumption to presume that it is. But this is really bizarre. I mean, using the phrase, a huge chapter is locked behind a wall, does suggest an NDA. That is obvious. But then he goes on to say that everything that he says, somehow then fans claim that he is rewriting history. So maybe that isn't what he's referencing, and maybe he's just saying that he can't say anything without fans rewriting it. Because if there was an NDA in place, there would certainly, almost certainly, have to be an expiry on that. I mean, it's not like this guy was granted his release from All Elite Wrestling. His contract expired, so it's not like he would have had to have negotiated some NDA or something to begin with. I mean, maybe there was a short-term one for some sort of reason, I don't know, written into his contract, but I doubt there's anything that would permanently keep him from writing a book. I don't know about this. The way he said it is very, very strange. That does bring us to the end of the news for today, guys. If you did enjoy, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments down below about today's news stories. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace!